Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Juan the Yarn Addict and I'd like to welcome you to my fall favorites review. Last year, Lion Brand Scarfie and Premier Puzzle battled it out for the top spot as being my favorite yarn for the fall season of 2024. Lion Brand Scarfie slid back to second place with Premier Puzzle taking the top spot. The question now becomes, is Premier Puzzle still at the top of my list, or did another yarn come in and snatch the crown? We're going to find out later on in the video. Today, I'm going to showcase my favorite yarns, my favorite makes, as well as my honorable mentions list, which contain items that I highly recommend but just didn't quite make the favorites. So if any of this is of interest to you, feel free to sit back and enjoy the video. Before we get started, please remember to hit the like button, consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already, and then of course share the video. I would definitely appreciate the support. So without further ado, let's jump into the honorable mentions list. Again, these are items that I highly recommend, but just didn't quite make the mark of my favorites. So let's jump into the first item. And here we have James C. Brett Marble. So this actually made my honorable mentions list. I absolutely love working with James C. Brett Marble and James C. Brett Marble Chunky. They both made my honorable mentions, and here they are. So we're going to get into the details of these yarns. First, we're going to go into James C. Brett Marble. This is DK weight yarn. So it's a number 3. And this is 100% acrylic. It's machine washable and dryable. This particular skein comes to us with 220 meters, 240 yards. It's a 100-gram skein. Super, super soft. There's tons of colors. It's gorgeous, gorgeous yarn. And there's a bit of a twist to it. As you can see there, lovely twist. Love that. The colorways come to us with numbers. It's coded with letters and numbers. So this particular shade is MT13. MT13, absolutely gorgeous. Very autumnal with the browns and such good yarn. I highly recommend this. The James C. Brett Marble Chunky, absolutely amazing. So this is a bulky weight number 5 weight yarn. Absolutely love working with this particular yarn, specifically because I've recently done several projects with James C. Brett Marble Chunky. This yarn works up with a 6mm US letter J hook, and this colorway number is MC89. MC89. Absolutely gorgeous. Love this so much. So each ball of yarn comes to us with 312 meters, 341 yards, and it's a 200-gram donut. Very, very nice. And so this particular yarn here works up with a 5mm US letter H hook or a 5.5 US letter I. So James C. Brett yarns come highly recommended. I absolutely love this yarn. The only reason why it's not higher on my list is because of accessibility issues as of right now, but I foresee in the near future that that won't be such an issue. So these two come highly recommended from me to you guys. Feel free to check them out. Wonderful, wonderful yarn. Okay, so there's 2 of the 6. So I have 6 items here that made my honorable mentions list. And the third one that I have here is Yarnspirations Caron Spice Cakes. Absolutely love this yarn. I love the marbling that the yarn provides. This is a bulky, super bulky number 6 weight yarn. Super bulky number 6. Absolutely gorgeous. The colorway here is called Ginger Snap. Love that. I'm not sure if the color's changing as I go in and out, but right here is more true to color. Absolutely gorgeous. So this particular cake here is a, let's see, 227-gram cake, 8 ounces. So 239 yards, 218 meters. This is machine washable and dryable, which is super, super nice. And the hook recommendation is an 8mm US letter L. And again, we have a lot of the marbling there. Super, super nice. And this yarn is very versatile. So you can work this yarn up into a wearable, a blanket. The possibilities are endless. And from past experience, I believe that this yarn is a seasonal yarn. So last year it was out for just a short time. And then once again, this year it's out for just a short time. Hopefully in the near future, they'll make this more accessible year-round in the stores. I picked this up at my local Michael's store, and often you will find this particular yarn in its own gondola and on sale. So the original price is $12.99. Sometimes they'll put in some sales and you can get this for as low as $9 and some change. So very, very nice yarn, very soft, and again, versatile. Okay. The next two yarns I have here are Red Heart Super Saver yarns. Tried, tested, and true. I will always talk about Red Heart yarns. I know some of the yarns are more coarse than others, but it's always been that way, and I absolutely just love, love, love Red Heart Super Saver. So, without further ado, an honorable mention is this particular yarn right here. This is called Aspen Print. It's been in production for a long time. You can tell you have a gold ring around the heart. This is an older skein of yarn, but it's still in production. You can still get it. Aspen Print. And this is a worsted number 4 weight yarn. The recommended hook size is a 5.5 US letter I. This is 100% acrylic, and it is machine washable and dryable. And this is extremely versatile in terms of colors of yarn that you can pair with this. One of the colors I do have here on the table, these two go hand in hand very, very nicely. So this particular colorway is called Latte, Cafe Latte. Absolutely amazing. Another colorway you can pair with this is Red Heart Super Saver in Aran. Or you can put all three of these together. Very, very nice. So I highly recommend this. And to be perfectly honest with you, all of the variegated yarn, in my very humble opinion, could make this honorable mentions list. But I had to choose for the sake of the list, and this does make the list. I love this, especially for the fall season. This is a very transitional colorway. You can work this up in the summertime and then have it transition into the fall. So very versatile in that way. Okay. The next one I have here is called Earth and Sky. I'm actually wearing it, but this is one of the leftovers from the skein. And we have a gorgeous blue colorway there. It's more of a cornflower blue, but we have the espresso brown and the cafe latte, the different shades of brown. Super, super nice. Now, this is a discontinued vintage variegated colorway. If you're able to get your hands on this, I highly recommend it. And I made this sweater with it. Super, super nice. And the brown yarn here is Karen 1 pound in espresso. Very, very nice. So those are the yarns that I have here. I have one more set of yarns that I would like to share with you as an honorable mention. And this comes to us from Ice Yarns. So the yarn I have here is called Favorite Wool. I'm sure many people out there may have an aversion to working with wool, but that's okay, because at Ice Yarns they have Favorite Acrylic as well for those who aren't really into the Favorite Wool. So here are 3 examples of Favorite Wool. I'll share the numbers with you for those of you guys who still shop Ice Yarns. Let's see here. Favorite Wool Orange, the colorway number is 58377. 58377. And the pack comes with 4 skeins, and each skein is 100 grams. It's 100% wool, and it's hand washed, lay flat to dry. Absolutely wonderful. Actually, let me make a correction here. It's a blended yarn, so it's 50 acrylic, 50 wool. And let's see here. They suggest a 6mm US letter J hook. I'm actually working up a project with a 3.5mm crochet hook, and I'll show you that in just a minute. So we have Favorite Orange. We have Favorite Wool Cafe Latte. And this colorway number here is 58370. 58370. Again, 4 skeins per pack. And the third colorway here is Favorite Wool Brown. So I paired these colors together into a project, and I'm making your classic granny square blankets. The pattern that I'm using is my favorite. It's actually a pattern that I have a tutorial for on my channel. It's called the Perfectly Squared Granny Square. This is the hook, a 3.5 millimeter dots hook. And here is my perfectly squared granny square. So this is the project. I'm going to back up so you can see more of it. And to be quite frank with you, it is taking a while because the stitches are very, very small, but that's okay. Absolutely love it. And here are my open skeins. It's very, very soft. I really enjoy working with this. I actually thought at first it was 100% wool because on the pack it says favorite wool orange, but I should have looked at the ball band. So it's 50 wool, 50 acrylic. It comes to us in 100-gram skeins, like I said, 210 meters, which is approximately 220 yards, give or take. And again, it's classified as a bulky 5-weight yarn. And I mentioned this before, it's a very thin 5-weight yarn. In fact, I would, according to my wrap test, it wraps as a worsted weight yarn, but I'm using a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook for this. I have a very strong feeling that once I go to wash this, it's going to bloom. I didn't anticipate that, but that could be the reason why they suggest such a thick needle, given the yarn being so thin. So I'm gonna have to wait and see. Anyway, I highly recommend this if you're into wool. Because of the blend, there's no scratch to it, there's no bite to it. It's very soft for what it is. Again, you're able to find this on the Ice Yarns website. Now, I am an affiliate of Ice Yarns, so if you're international and you're shopping Ice Yarns, feel free to use my link. I would definitely appreciate that. But if you're not into shopping Ice Yarns, I completely understand. That being said, that's one of the reasons why it made the honorable mentions and not the favorites. Okay, so from here, we're going to jump over into my favorite makes of last year. And without further ado, I'm going to jump into one of the first makes early on in my journey here on YouTube. You may have seen this more than one time. I absolutely love, love, love my Granny Ripple. So this is my fall Granny Ripple. I'm going to open this up and show it to you. Here it is. I absolutely love, love, love this blanket. So it stands 7 feet high and we are 4.5 feet wide. Very, very nice. So this entire project was worked with Premier Puzzle. I'm sorry, not Premier Puzzle, I'm sorry. So it's Premier Just Yarn. I'm looking at Premier Puzzle. So it's Premier's Just Yarn. I worked this up with a 6 millimeter US letter J hook. And the colors that I put onto this project are pecan, which is this brown, pecan, however you pronounce that. And we have this colorway here, which is called mustard. Right here, mustard, and then persimmon. So those are the 3 colors that I worked this project up in, and I got all this yarn from the $1.25 tree. So, yep, the $1.25 tree. I bought a bunch of those little skeins. They were 109 yards per skein, and I got a bunch of those, and I used that to work this up, and I thoroughly enjoyed this. So the way that I actually planned this was every 2 stripes was a skein of that Just Yarn from the $1.25 tree. So every 2 stripes. And I just kept going until I ran out of yarn. And as it turned out, 7 feet. Love that. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one here, I absolutely love this. Absolutely, one of my favorites, hands down. This was our Cal last year, Autumn Aspirations. I absolutely love this. And let me just open this up and show it to you, and then I'll talk to you guys about the details. I'm going to back up and show it. So this was our fall crochet along last year, Autumn Aspirations. And then I'm going to get close and show you the details here. Very, very nice. And I'll show you the center. There we go. That's the center. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, let me grab my chair, have a seat. Okay, so according to my little card here, the Autumn Aspirations blanket was worked up using Lion Brand Pound of Love. And the colorways here are cream. Let me grab a piece of the blanket to show you. So we have cream, we have pumpkin spice is the orange colorway there. There it is, pumpkin spice. And then mustard right here. And then we have olive, which is right here. And then this dark color here is called claret. And I worked this entire blanket up with a 6mm clover hook, clover or more. This entire blanket, 6mm clover or more. And we started this crochet along at the beginning of November, actually the beginning of October, and it lasted until the middle of November. And so it was so much fun to work up. I had a lot of fun with this, all the way down to the very last round, which is the crab stitch. Super, super nice. So I highly recommend this. I still have all the tutorials in a playlist if you're interested in checking out the Autumn Aspirations. I also have written patterns for this on my Ravelry over at JuanTheYarnAddict. Okay, so that's the second one there. And the third one here is my shawl. So I have a shawl here. I absolutely love it. This is my shawl for all. And I'm just going to open this up and show you. Now, I made this a little larger than I recommended in the videos and in the pattern, just because it's for me. So let me just open this up. And it's wider than my wingspan, which is perfectly okay for me. And I do suggest in the tutorial and in the written pattern to continue going until you get to the size that you want. But for me, I went extra. I used 5.5 skeins of Premier Puzzle in the colorway Jigsaw. 5.5 skeins. And I gotta tell you, I absolutely love this. I use it all the time. And I keep it close by on those chilly mornings. I just throw it on and do all the things. So again, I have a tutorial for this on my channel, and I also have a written pattern on my Ravelry for this if you're interested. So there you have it. Those are my favorite makes for the fall season. Feel free to check out all the things, and I'm sure in the coming months I'm going to create more favorite things for next year. So with that, we're going to jump into my favorite yarns for the fall season. So in no particular order first, and then I'm going to rank them. All right. So I have 6 sets of yarn here, and in no particular order, we are going to just pop in the Red Heart Super Saver in the colorway Fall. For obvious reasons, I absolutely love this. I am your typical pumpkin spice kind of guy, and I love all the cliches, and I just love this colorway for the fall. And so I also suggest solids to run with this. So I have some recommendations here. So you have Red Heart Super Saver in the colorway Aran, which is like a creamy white, Cafe Latte, and I have Carrot. So this is Red Heart Super Saver Solid in the colorway Carrot. Absolutely beautiful. And then I have a fourth one here. Oh, I might not be able to hold them all. So we have Hunter Green. So it's not an exact green, but I think the accent of the darker green with the greens that are in the yarn would look nice. So give you a little bit of a close-up to that. Now I do have other colorways of yarn in other labels that closely match the colors in this particular skein, but I decided to keep it label specific. So with what I had in stash, my favorites, this is what I have of my favorites in Red Heart. So let me see if I can hold all these together, because the medley of colors look absolutely wonderful, I feel. even without the variegated yarn, we could work up these 4 solids into something wonderful. But I can't just, I can't erase the variegated yarn. I love it too much. So, all right, I'm gonna put this back here. Red Heart Super Saver, obviously tried, tested, and true. I will always talk about Red Heart Super Saver. I will always have it behind me to showcase to you guys, because humble beginnings, it's where I started, right? This and my Karen 1 pound right there. Okay, so again, in no particular order, I have Loops and Threads Soft Classic. Actually, before I jump into this, let me tell you all the specs of the Red Heart, because with the variegated yarn and the solids, like most yarns, they come in 2 different sizes here. So the variegated yarn comes to us with 5 ounces, and it also states 141 grams, 236 yards. The hook suggestion is a 5.5 US letter I, 100% acrylic, but the solids here come to us in 7 ounces. So 5 ounces and 7 ounces. And then this is 198 grams, so almost 200 grams. And then you get 364 yards per skein. Again, all machine washable and dryable. Very, very good yarn. All right, now let's jump into the Loops and Threads Soft Classic. And I have 3 colorways here as an example. Full disclosure, a lot of the yarn that you're seeing here is a mix between Red Heart Super Saver and this. So I absolutely love this yarn here. Loops and Threads Soft Classic. This is the older label, Craft Smart. They have since labeled, changed to Loops and Threads Soft Classic. And so here are 3 of the colorways that I have here that kind of remind me of the fall. So this particular colorway here is called Mustard. This one here is called Dark Chocolate, right here. And I believe this one here is called Curry. It's asking for like a green or maybe like a burnt red of some sort. Maybe something like where my finger is pointed, right there. I think that would look nice with this. But for all intents and purposes, this is what I have. And so the specs on this yarn here, 354 yards at 7 ounces. 324 meters at 198 grams. Now, they are suggesting a 5.5 US letter I crochet hook. It's machine washable and dryable, and it's 100% acrylic. This is a thick 4-weight yarn. I'm going to say 99% of the time, I use a 6mm crochet hook or a 6.5 US letter K. So a J or a K is what I use with this yarn, and it works up beautifully. It's very consistent in its thickness, and I have nothing negative to say about this yarn whatsoever. I absolutely love it. So that is another one of my favorites. And let's jump into some of my favorites from last year. So Lion Brand Scarfie. So this is what Lion Brand Scarfie looks like. So this is a blended yarn. So we have 78% acrylic, 22% wool, and it is a bulky 5-weight yarn. The colorway that you're looking at right here is called Oxford Rouge. So Oxford gray and like a very dark red, almost a claret red, in fact. Absolutely gorgeous. Love this yarn. It comes to us in 312 yards, 285 meters. 5.3 ounces at 150 grams, and they suggest a 6.5 US letter K crochet hook, and the washing instructions are machine washable, lay flat to dry. I do have to tell you that I have dried Scarfie on low, and it does turn out, but I do want to tell you, just be cautious about putting it in the dryer. Like, use the dryer at your own risk. Anyway, I have a few other colorways that I absolutely love. This is one of my favorite colorways of Lion Brand Scarfie. I do have several colorways in stash, but I pulled my favorites to show you guys. So we have the Oxford Rouge. Love that one. And then we have Magenta Charcoal, which this does not look magenta to me. In fact, it's showcasing my very favorite colorway, dark purple and charcoal. I have to tell you, out of all the Lion Brand Scarfie that I have, this is my absolute favorite colorway right here, the magenta charcoal. I love this. If I could, I would make everything in this colorway. And then we have this cream and granite colorway here. Absolutely love this. And my Strata scarf was made with this. I absolutely love this. Very soft, and there really isn't much of a bite to it. The only downside to Line Brand Scarfie is there aren't many choices in terms of colorways. So, you know, the colorways that have been here last year are the same ones that are available this year. In fact, there are a few, in fact, that were discontinued since I was first introduced to Line Brand Scarfie. So nothing new. It's pretty much par for the course, same old, okay? But I still love it. It's amazing. All right, the next one here is one that I have not showcased on the channel, but I absolutely love working with this. So I've been commissioned on several projects throughout the year, and especially during the fall season, I get asked to make things with this particular yarn off camera. So it turned out to be one of my favorites. So we have Line Brand Hue and Me yarn, and I have several colorways here to showcase to you guys. So a one for you and a one for me. So this particular colorway that you're looking at is called Haze, and it is a bulky 5-weight yarn, and they are suggesting a 6.5 US letter K crochet hook, and the skein here is 4.4 ounces, 125 grams, 137 yards at 125 meters. And this is machine washable, lay flat to dry. And the makeup is very similar to Line Brand Scarfie. So Line Brand Scarfie is 78 acrylic, 22% wool. This is 80% acrylic, 20% wool. So it's very similar in the makeup, and same suggestion for the crochet hook. So anyway, here are two colorways. This colorway here is called Shadow. This one is Shadow, and this one is Haze. So I brought another bag from Stash of other colorways that I'd like to show you guys. So this one here is called Desert. So it's like a sandy colorway. It actually looks better back here. Next we have, let's see, Juniper. We have Juniper, lovely, lovely piney green color. This is Juniper again. This one here is Sea Glass. The Sea Glass and Juniper look really nice together. The two greens, very, very nice. And this one here is Desert again. So let me just grab one of each and showcase all of them together, because I think collectively these yarns look very, very nice together. So very muted, very nice, and for a bulky 5-weight yarn at this size, to get over 109 yards is pretty awesome, because the standard for most yarns this thick, this size, would be around 109 yards. You're getting 135 per skein, which is really, really nice. You can go a little further with your skeins. Now, understandably so that this is 4.4 ounces and not a 3 ounce. So it's slightly bigger than your 3 ounce 100 gram skeins. But then again, it packs a punch. It's really, really nice. It's very comfortable to work with. I absolutely love this yarn here. So I think I covered everything I could cover with this. So very nice. I'm going to just put this off to the side. Okay, next, I mean, tried, tested, and true again, like my Red Heart Super Saver, my Karen 1 pound. I mean, I absolutely love, love, love this yarn. So much, in fact, when I rank my yarns, I tend to not put this in the running because it will always come first. This is the first time that I'm actually including it in the list because I don't give it enough justice. I don't really talk about Karen 1 pound as much as I should, given what it actually gives us as crocheters, as fiber artists, as knitters. So I have a sampling of colors here that I want to share with you. There you go. Here are 4 of many colorways that I would choose for the fall season. And so this brown here is the brown that I'm wearing. It's called Espresso. Very nice, Espresso. I should dust it off before I showcase it. Just dust that off. Okay, so Espresso. Now, each one of these skeins comes to us with 812 yards. It is a medium 4-weight yarn. They suggest a 5.5 US letter I crochet hook. I always use a 6 because, once again, this is a thick 4-weight yarn. This is machine washable and dryable, and there are a ton of colorways on various websites. This is a very versatile yarn. You can make wearables with this, obviously. You can make anything and everything with this yarn. It's super, super nice. So, again, the colorway here is Espresso. I guess I'll put that right there. This next colorway here is called Succulent. It's a beautiful shade of green. At first, I thought it was a sagey color, but after looking at the label, it makes sense. Succulent. Very nice. Succulent green. The next one I have here is called Light Terracotta. That's Light Terracotta. I love this colorway. Amazing. So good. And then next I have Lace. So it's a beigey creamy color. Very, very nice. And again, I'm just going to bring these back together to show you just one of many examples of colors you can pick for the fall season. And you can very easily substitute any one of these 4 colors out for another colorway. Now, the wall that's next to me here is 90% Karen 1 pound, and it's a year-round yarn. I always go to it. With each skein being 812 yards, there's tons of things that you can make with this yarn. And the reason why I amp this up so much is because it's what I started with. And I've said that many times. When my grandmother, my aunt, taught me how to crochet, this is one of the first yarns I've ever used. And I'm still using it over 30 years later. I absolutely love it. It's much more expensive now than it was over 30 years ago. We're paying $13, $14, $15 a skein, whereas when I first started, I was able to get this for just under $5. So times, they have changed, of course. So last but certainly not least, I have the winner of last year's favorite yarn for the fall, which is Premier Puzzle. So much so that I had to bring a sampling of some of the colorways that I had in stash. I love this yarn, and I promise you guys, when I go to rank this yarn, I'm not going to be biased at all. But I do have to tell you that many, many projects here on the channel were created with this yarn because of how much I love this yarn. I love how soft it is. I love the variety of colorways that Premier offers with this line of yarn. And what's more is, since last year, they've come out with solids and a handful of wonderful colors to complement these wonderful yarns here. So without further ado, I'm just going to share what I have in the bag. That being said, there are 35 of these variegated colorways of puzzle, not including the solids. So there's a bunch of those. And I do have to tell you, I am an Alliance member of Premier Yarns. So if you see something that you like, please shop my link. It doesn't cost you anything to use it, but it does help out my channel immensely. Okay, so Premier Puzzle. This colorway is called Sudoku. This is a bulky 5-weight yarn. Each skein comes with 328 yards. The suggested hook size is a 6mm US letter J. 100% acrylic, very soft, machine washable and dryable. I mean, I can't speak high enough about this yarn. It is Okotex approved. It has been tested against over 350 harmful substances. It's wonderful. Again, Sudoku. So you have the grays and the whites, very nice. All right, the next one I have here is called Hangman. So you have the blues and the purples. Now this one reminds me of me and my mother. So I love purple, my mom loves blue, and whenever I create a make with my mom in mind or with me and my mom in mind, I use this particular colorway because both of our colors are represented in this yarn. So you have a wonderful purple there, wonderful blues, absolutely beautiful. And another thing I should add about the Premier Puzzle skeins, there's pictures of ideal patterns. So if you're not sure what to make with this yarn, the skeins provide ideas as well as the website. So premieryarns.com, you can go on the website. They have tons of ideas for this yarn, okay? Also, you can check out my channel. Again, I've done many things with this yarn, so there's that. Next, we have backgammon. So we have a beautiful claret red with vibrant blue colorways along with the gray. So you can see that Oxford gray colorway there. Absolutely beautiful. So let's dig into the next colorway. We have Jacks. So we have the whites and the gray. Super, super nice. So it looks like different shades of white because of the gray and the way that it's fused in with the white. But I mean, it's all white, but then I guess it's the different shades of gray. There's gradients of gray wrapped around that white. It's very faint, but very, very nice nonetheless. All right, next we have Leapfrog. I love this colorway because of the purple, and because of this particular skein, I fell in love with the idea of fusing green with purple and blue. I love the concept. I love the idea. Before discovering this colorway, I had no idea that that would even look right, but I really love that. And what's more is I love the pattern that they provide on the label. I don't know if you're able to pick that up, but that's a beautiful blanket with this yarn. Very, very nice. Okay, I have another one here. It's one of my favorites. It's one of their classic colorways. It's called Checkers. I love this red. It's gorgeous. I love it. So, so good. They used to sell this colorway at Walmart. I had tons and tons and tons of it. I put it in mystery boxes, and then they discontinued it off the shelves at Walmart. So yeah, I should have held on to it before the mystery boxes, but I had no idea that they were going to remove that from the shelves at Walmart. But that's okay. There are other colorways there. So next, I'm going to show you some of the solids that they provide, that they offer. So this particular solid is called Forest. It's a forest green, and I think it works up beautifully with this Leapfrog. It's a great accent, right? Super, super nice. Now, I don't have the skein here with me, but the green Premier Puzzle Maze, amazing with that. So next, I have this colorway, which is Burgundy. And I'm going to pull some examples here of what looks good with the Burgundy. So we have Checkers with Burgundy. Also, Backgammon looks really nice with the Burgundy. Super, super nice. These solids are very versatile. You can flip-flop between the different yarns. You don't have to dedicate this particular color to any single one of those puzzle skeins. So that's a lot of fun too. Next, we have Sage. Again, Maze would go great with this. There are several choices here that you can mix and play with, but Sage is a beautiful, beautiful colorway for Maze, in my opinion. And I do have other colorways in the yarn room that go well with this. I did not bring it, but Maze is a great shade of green. Also, you can blend solids together. So you don't have to always use a busy yarn. You can run a project using these two together. Not at the same time, separate, or you can marl them together. It's completely up to you. The possibilities are endless. Next, I have Navy Blue, which again, Backgammon. And you can also run Burgundy, Navy, and Backgammon together in a project. Super, super nice. The best part about this yarn here is its versatility. I mean, it goes without saying. And then, of course, we round all of this off with white. So white will literally go with every single colorway that they offer. So there's that. Okay, now I've shown you every single thing that I have. Everything I have here, you've seen. Now it's time for me to rank the yarn. So I'm going to place this on a brief pause. I'm going to organize my table, and then I'm going to come back with my rankings after I've straightened up all of my things. So I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, everyone, I am back. I've taken a few moments to clear the work area to really think about how I was going to rank the yarn, and I'm happy to report that we have a winner. But before I share this information with you, I have a few disclaimers. The first one is all yarn is good yarn. I love all yarn. I'm Juan the Yarn Addict, right? I may take issue to certain colorways, but I still love all the yarn. The second disclaimer here is my top 6 may not be your top 6, and that's perfectly okay. Opinions are subjective, and we all have different opinions, and I love that for you and for me and for us. I mean, seriously, I love the fact that we're all different. Again, my top 6 may not be your top 6, and that's okay. The third disclaimer is I had to take one of the yarns out of the running because I am biased by this yarn. Every time it's in a ranking video, I have to remove it because I absolutely love it. It would automatically be first each and every time. So to be fair to the other yarns, I had to take this one yarn out. So unfortunately, it will not be a top 6. It will be a top 5. So the yarn that I had to remove is Karen 1 pound. If you're an OG to the channel, you kind of knew that this was going to happen already. So anyway, Karen 1 pound is my all-time favorite yarn. It would always be first if I left it in a ranking video. I love everything about it. I love every colorway. I love how much yarn you get. There's nothing that I dislike about this yarn. So Karen 1 pound is out of the running because it literally is my favorite yarn, okay? But this video is favorite yarns for the fall. So let's jump into the top 5. So coming in at 5th place is Line Brand Hue and Me. I love this yarn. I love all this yarn, to be perfectly honest with you, but this comes in 5th. It's not as accessible as it used to be. We used to be able to go into Joann's and just pluck it off the shelf and take it home with us. Now we have to order it online and wait for it to come in. So it's inconvenient. So 5th place, Line Brand Hue and Me. I love this colorway, by the way, Haze. So nice. Coming in at 4th place, to the surprise of many perhaps, Red Heart Super Saver in the colorway Fall. It's very fitting, right, for the fall, but there are other yarns that are better, to be perfectly honest with you. I love the colorway. I love everything about it. You guys know I love vintage variegated yarns. I love variegated yarns, but I mean, it's a 5-ounce skein, 141 grams, 236 yards. There are other yarns with more yardage. I am one who loves a lot of yarn at one time, hence Karen 1 pound, 812 yards. Anyway, 4th place, we have we have Red Heart Super Saver in the colorway Fall. All right. Coming in at 3rd place is Line Brand Scarfy. It dropped down in the rankings since last year. And the reason for that is because there hasn't been anything new with it. It's the same exact Scarfy we've always come to know and love. So therefore, it came down. So yeah, I love this for scarves. I love this for tons of different things. But yes, 3rd place, Line Brand Scarfy. Coming in at 2nd place, Loops and Threads Soft Classic. So tried, tested, and true. A lot softer, more yardage. It's a thicker 4-weight yarn. I love thicker yarns and all the things. And Loops and Threads Soft Classic has many, many, many colorways. In their multis, their solids, their striped, their ombres. There's tons and tons of different colorways. So 2nd place, Loops and Threads Soft Classic. So if you figured it out by now, coming in at 1st place for the 2nd year in a row, Premier Puzzle. I absolutely love this yarn. I love all 35 colorways. I love the solids. And so, yes, this tops the cake for me. How many of you guys knew that this was going to be the first one? It's almost like if you knew, you already knew that this was going to be a thing. So anyway, Premier Puzzle is my absolute favorite yarn. Not only did it come in as my favorite yarn for the fall last year, it was my favorite yarn for the year last year. So in the coming months, I will be doing favorites for the year. Will this be at the top or not? Very curious to know. Anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to do all the things. Hit the thumbie, leave a comment or two. Tell me which yarns were your favorite yarns. I'm dying to know. And of course, if you see that hype button, feel free to hype up this video to put it out in front of more people. So with that, I'm going to sign off. Thank you so much for watching. And until the next one, take care.